to our channel. This is our Star Wars review of the Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. Oh
well. We kind of said that with a bit of lackluster, which might give you
an
indication as to how we feel about it. Just remember, these reviews are purely our opinions based on our feelings about how we feel about Star Wars in general. Personally, I was brought up on Star Wars. It was always one of those movies that was played and played again in my house from being very, very little. And there's always been a high expectation of what would happen if we ever saw Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker again, which is one of the main problems I have. But we'll get into it
all into it.
We'll do it all.
We're going to just say this from the get-go. This is a spoiler review.
Yeah.
There's going to be spoilers throughout. So if you have not seen The Last Jedi, one, why?
Turn it off. If you don't want to know, turn it off now, because we are going to tell you exactly what happens. And if you then think, oh, well, I'll watch it just to see, and then you're disappointed, please don't blame us.
Don't blame us.
We are going to talk about everything that happens.
And again, as Carolyn said, these are our opinions. You're going to have your own, and you're going to have your own thoughts and feelings on it. These are just ours. Let's get into it. We'll just get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the film of 2017, I think, that is truly going to divide opinion.
A lot of it, yeah.
It is, I think my brother was talking about it earlier, wasn't he, to us, and he said it's Marmite.
Yeah.
That you either really, really love this film, or you absolutely hate or you're very disappointed in the film. Unfortunately, I'm disappointed.
I don't share that much disappointment, but I can understand where it comes from. So this is why we've not broken into a full-on fight yet. But no, I totally understand. I get it. There's always going to be bits that Carolyn likes and I don't like, and vice versa. But I can understand where Carolyn's frustrations come from. Well, I really can.
Let's talk about the things that we really liked, because there are so many.
Oh God,
if you haven't been to see it, absolutely go and see it. It's not a terrible film.
No.
But what I will say is that the way I feel about this film is equivocal to the way that I feel about Justice League, and that I came out and I go, nah, didn't hate it, didn't love it.
Yeah, because
I want to love Star Wars, because especially as this is the first one that we see Mark Hamill return as Luke Skywalker, and I had such high expectations. And I think that is why I'm maybe a bit disappointed.
Possibly, yeah, I agree. I came out to Star Wars at 3 o'clock in the morning and went, I've just seen a Star Wars film. Can I go to bed yet? Because I was so tired. I was ridiculously tired. Midnight showing. 10 years ago, I would have blitzed it. I could have absolutely blitzed it. I would have went out afterwards. Yeah. But now I just can't do it.
Getting old.
Getting old. So yes, let's dive into our likes. First big like. Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron is hands down the best character in episode 8.
Absolutely.
He has the most... I want to say he had the most screen time.
He did?
In terms of his lines. I think he had more lines than anybody else. So, well done you.
Well done.
On remembering your lines. He was really good, and I think the only thing that I didn't like, just a small thing, really, and this creeps into things overall that I didn't like about the way they did episode 8, was I feel like that some of the lines that he had, especially there's a scene where he's talking to Hux, and he pretends that he doesn't know that he's talking to Hux because he's trying to sort of demean him. I felt like there was too much Peter Quill, Guardians of the Galaxy humour going on there, and I think, do you know something? That is not what Star Wars is about. No, you've never seen that really in any of the other Star Wars movies. It kind of touched on it a little bit in episode 7, but this film was it was just spattered everywhere throughout the film, and it was too much. Too much humour.
We're just on the likes right now.
But one of the likes, we really like Poe Dameron.
Not just because he is hot. Like, that guy is... Oscar
Isaacs a very attractive man.
Ridiculously good looking. But...
he's no Henry Cavill.
No, he is better than Henry Cavill. I'm sorry. I don't share that at all. Oscar Isaacs is beautiful.
Man.
Very beautiful. So that was good. But just his whole dynamic throughout the whole thing, it was like from start to finish, he never changed course, if that's... too corny. I might be a bit corny to say, but he never changed course.
He was a rebel in the true sense. He even disobeys Leia.
Yeah.
She says, you're demoted.
And he was
you will not do this, and you will not do that. And he's like,
no, I'm
not.
not.
This, I've got a better plan than you. I'm going to go and do my own thing. Sends Finn off with Rose to go and find this code breaker. And Leia finds out later on, and livid. And I mean, as you later find out, the plan fails. Yeah. And they're just sent off on transport ships without any way of defending themselves. And I mean, as a result, the Rebel Alliance is nearly obliterated. And there's a very small camp of them left.
Very small percentage of them left. But Poe Dameron, throughout the whole thing, was just absolutely superb. 10 out of 10 from me.
We love that. And I really liked his relationship with BB-8, where you got to see a lot more of that.
Yes, I love... BB-8 is my droid. Like, I like my... I like my droids. Well, I love this droid.
Like, in Star Wars, having said that the humour isn't really there throughout the other films, R2-D2's got an attitude. Yeah. BB-8's got an attitude, but he's not R2-D2. R2-D2 is... a huffy, stubborn little thing. Yeah. BB-8's kind of cute.
The fact that
funny.
There's a scene with BB-8 where he's had to... Here comes the cat. He has to stop something, and he uses every inch of him to stop whatever he can on this board from doing what it's doing. And by the end of it, got so fed up with the fact that you get Romeo.
People say they never see the cat.
And here he is. Well, one of them. Hi, little boy. There he is. Our own little BB-8. Hello, baby. There's a kitty cat. Right there.
An actual cat. For actual cat. Never see one.
Never see the cat. He's right there. But yes, when BB-8 smashes his head into that board that
it's damaged and it's starting to short circuit, and he's basically jamming every little arm that he has to try and keep the electrical connection going through. At one point you just see him think, oh sod, this will stick my head in there.
Boom. It's so funny.
He totally fries himself in doing that.
He had ample amount of screen time, wasn't overbearing, wasn't too much, and he was perfect. I know it's a droid, but for me he was just perfect. Absolutely loved that.
Loved Poe, loved BB-8. Yes. Loved Rey in this film. I thought she was brilliant, and I liked the whole Rey and Luke. Oh, please be my Jedi Master. No, I won't be. Yes, you will. Please train me. Okay, then. So that
smug face because Carolyn already said this. I'm not going to take credit for it because it was Carolyn who said this.
We called this storyline like a year ago.
We did. We said, well, Carolyn, I'm not taking credit for it because it was Carolyn. She said that Rey would go to the island, Luke wouldn't train her, and Rey would convince him to do so. And it is exactly how it played out. And it was perfect. The training sequence was just, it's everything you wanted. Yeah. It was so good.
And whilst they're on Actor where Luke is, you get to see some new characters. You get to see the Porgs. Everyone loves the Porg.
I'm sorry I know there's some people on the internet who do not like them, but these are so cute.
I know.
They're so cute. I want one.
And the Guardians, the little Guardians, they were really good, and that was a nice subtle bit of humour, which is totally Star Wars humour. Yeah. That you see. There's a few scenes where Rey and Kylo can connect and communicate with each other. Yeah. Luke has to break that communication line, doesn't he? Because he's worried that she's being pulled to the dark side. Because when he realises how strong her connection is with the Force, and that she says, oh, I can see this and I can see that, so he thinks, oh, right, okay, she totally understands what it is, and that's excellent. Then she says, but there's something else. Yeah. And the look on his face is, oh no, it's Ben Solo all over again, and it's worse, because he knows that she is probably stronger than him. Yeah. And that side of Rey starts to come out and be developed. Loved it. Loved that. Really nailed it.
Really.
Great. Not a problem. Really like that.
We're still on the likes, so you're not going to the dislike yet.
We're still on the likes.
We're still on the likes.
We're still on the likes.
So we'll move on to, well, Rey and we do have notes, because we had
so many things. Rey and Kylo's relationship. Yeah. Absolutely excellent. Adam Driver was perfect.
Adam Driver in this film is incredible from start to finish. Regardless of the in-betweens and the likes and dislikes, he, from start to finish, was absolutely perfect.
You almost forgive him for killing Han Solo. Almost. He is that good.
It's nearly there. There is, and it's part of the next like. but it's nearly there.
Yeah, and Ray says to him, I think there's one point in the film where he says, "Go on, say it," and she says, "How could you? How could you do that?"
Yeah,
and he explains his side of it is that he feels that he was mistreated by Luke, misunderstood, and that Luke was going to murder him because he was basically misunderstood and perhaps a little jealous. I think it was the inference of his power.
Yeah, he thought he was it was like he was going to overpower. He would be more powerful than Luke. Luke got, I don't know, jealous or, but that's how he sees it. Is it's jealous and just kicks right off.
And it's interesting as well that you get to see that flashback to
From
when he
Reyes.
was. Yeah, you get to see Kylo was Ben Solo.
Yes,
very briefly,
but you do see it. But it's also Rey's vision from Force Awakens when Luke comes out of, and you see his, you see his hand and
from the Jedi Temple
and R2-D2's with them, and that's from Force Awakens. So it's nice that we got to see what that was all about.
It gelled nicely, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And the Jedi Chronicles, all of the history that Luke is keeping secret.
Yeah.
That's all fab. I think they could have done more with that. I think they could have maybe shown you a little bit more of the backstory of how Luke trained his set of Jedi, because you don't actually see them.
No.
All you see is Ben Solo, you see the Jedi Temple in flames.
And that's it. It would have been nice just to see a little bit more. Even there's a lot that could have been cut out of this film, and they could have used that time to fill gaps in about the Jedi, the backstory, because as we pointed out, it's been 34. Well, we pointed out, we were talking about it earlier. 34 years from
Return of the Jedi
to now. What has Luke been doing in that time?
For me, that's always been the main question: is that if you were ever to see Luke Skywalker / Mark Hamill again reprise the role, what's the first thing that you would think, especially the more the time gets on? And 34 years is a lot of time.
Yes.
The first thing that you do want to know is, what has Luke Skywalker been up to?
I would like to know.
Because even though, presumably, the whole thing with Ben Solo becoming Kylo Ren has happened in recent years. Yeah. It's not happened from Kylo being a child, because you never actually get to see Leia and Han really get together properly.
No, you don't.
You become a family. The whole development of Ben Solo. I mean, that could be something that's going to happen in later movies. We just don't know what they're going to do with that. But you don't get to really see the development of that Luke character. And I didn't feel that they did him justice on that front.
No. I agree with you. The thing is, with me, I came out of the pictures and I was, up until I came here, I'd seen a good Star Wars film. I couldn't understand what people were talking about. But then we haven't spoke about. We went through the pictures together, but have not spoke about it. And we speak every day. And it wasn't until I got here and I was like, oh, yeah, I see what you mean by that. And I see what and all I'm looking at it is, it was a Star Wars film. I've just seen a new Star Wars film, so I'm buzzing about that. But I'm a writer. I should be looking at things a little bit more differently, like character development. So going through this it's the first time I'm coming to realization of this was not a bad film, and I will never say that it's a bad film. But there is some things
definitely go
that
see it.
Yeah, there is some things that don't sit right.
Yeah, like
sit
that.
Right.
And I think one of the nicest things about the film is, especially now that Carrie Fisher isn't with us anymore, is that there's a couple of scenes. There's a one with Laura Dern, there's a one with Luke / Mark, where it's almost as if, I mean, clearly those scenes have been filmed in part, I think, when she was alive at the time. Yeah. I don't know how much of that's been added to, because some of the camera shots I noticed were just purely of Laura Dern. Yeah. And there was a few things that she said, and then it would cut back to Carrie. And I wonder how much of that was actually planned and then elaborated on as a bit of a tribute to Carrie Fisher, because it was almost like they were giving her the chance to say goodbye to everybody. Yes, And I thought that was really nice for people who are Carrie Fisher fans and fans of the franchise. I just thought it was really tastefully done. Yeah. Really nice how they did it.
It was.
I tugged at the heartstrings.
There is one thing, and I don't know if this falls within likes and dislikes, but I remember reading that the director was always going to put Leia in a place that she wasn't alive, she wasn't dead, but obviously we're not going to see her again. And she was in a place where the galaxy was. That annoys me when it does that. Sorry. There's a where she's somewhere in the galaxy where she will be forever a part of it. Yet, do you know what I mean? Like, and that didn't happen. The film ended with Leia still with the rest of the rebels, and it didn't feel like it was that's it. Like, Leia's story could continue.
I wonder whether or not they've edited the film in such a way. I mean, there could be more material they haven't included that maybe was going to be included. Maybe
because that film was really long.
Maybe they've held it back for episode 9 to kind of round that off in some way. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's true.
We just don't know. But speaking of Laura Dern was really good.
Amazing.
Really liked her.
Amazing. For somebody a good character is someone who can get you to love them and hate them. Or even just hate them overall. Like, Joffrey from Game of Thrones is an amazing character because
you loathe him.
You hate him, but you will watch him because of how much you hate him, and you want to see where he goes and how he messes up, and oh my god, does he actually win? And Laura Dern felt like the same kind of character. She came across as someone who was almost taken over from Leia.
It was kind of like, I know better than you, Paul Dameron. Don't you tell me what to do.
Just step back.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing, despite the fact that because she was obviously put forward as being a veteran, and really, really skilled, very knowledgeable, highly respected. But the way that she was going on, you thought, you're a fool. You don't actually know. You don't know what you're doing.
You don't know what you're doing at all.
Why does Leia trust you so much? Why are you in this position? And then, as it then turns out at the end, as all the rebels get onto the transporters to escape, hopefully. She says, somebody's got to fly the ship and I'm going to stay behind, knowing full well that she's going to die.
Heroes.
And she ends up turning the ship round and going straight through, doesn't she? Through the First Order. So then you go,
Yes, she had a plan the whole time. But it was the going back to development of character from start to finish, her being in there, it was lovely to watch. It was a good watch.
Yeah, it was a nice little neat sort of, can't stand it. Then you go,
but I can. Really I can't believe she did that. Yes.
Shame we didn't get to see more about her, but that was the nature of the role.
It was.
And that whole storyline we'll get into later, but
she looked beautiful as well. Laura Dern, what does Michaela always say? She's the woman who convinced you dinosaurs are real.
She did.
And she looked absolutely stunning. That whole suit and her hair was absolutely incredible. Loved her. Loved her. Next one.
Benicio del Toro.
Oh, he was so funny. Well, he was just Benicio del Toro.
The way he spoke, he had that little speech impediment.
Yeah, little
and you didn't trust him from the off, did you? Which was the whole point.
No.
Finn and Rose are captured, and they're thrown in the dungeons, if you like. He's in there. He's just a crook, isn't he?
Yeah.
A massive crook. He tells them that he can break this code that they need, so that they can find the way to get through into the First Order ship without being traced. They were actually looking for somebody else in Canto Bay Casino,
which was just in the room if anyone noticed him.
There we go. That goes pear-shaped. They find Benicio del Toro, and he says, "I'm your guy. I can do it." Without any problem, he just releases himself from the prison, and they escape as well.
He was good.
Goes wrong. I mean, in the meantime, you then see a huge fight between Finn and Captain Phasma, which
we'll get into that.
In a minute as well. And that's probably the last that you see of Benicio del Toro. It was quite a small role.
It was quite a small role, but it was perfect. It was.
Do you know gave loads of personality to them.
Reminded us of Loki.
He did, yes.
It was the can't trust him, won't trust him,
like him,
don't like him. Yeah, it's like he reminded us of Loki a lot. Loved Benicio del Toro. I just love Benicio del Toro in general. Like, he's such an amazing actor, and he's in Guardians too.
Yeah, there you go. And I mean, I think overall, the main thing that I really liked was the whole cinematography.
Yes,
there are some amazing fight scenes. You see the one between Kylo and Rey fight against Snoke and the Praetorian Guards.
That was
the best scene of the whole
visually
film.
beautiful. It was shot just I don't have the words to describe how beautiful that was. But the whole film was beautifully done.
Like, I love that relationship between Kylo and Rey again. Not to be repetitious, but that he's trying to convince her to come to the dark side, and she's saying, "No, come to the light side, because I can see that you're conflicted." And he says, "Yeah, but
I can see you're conflicted as well.
You don't understand." And she said, "But you don't understand."
Yeah.
So and there is a little bit of a hint of it. Is there a romance there between them? I don't know.
Or is it a friendship? All I felt is that regardless of it being romantic or friendship, they need to be together.
Kylo says, "You and I can rule this galaxy together and be unstoppable."
And to be honest, the way that it was going,
it.
I wanted that to happen. I was
totally
like, go on, Ray, join him, let's do this. Let's change the script completely up.
Well, I mean, that's a route they could have gone down, and maybe that would have been more interesting. But you see that there's a part where Kylo takes Rey to Snoke. You see, so you think you're finally going to find out who Snoke is, because I think there was a lot of build-up with Snoke.
Well,
who is really tall, by the way.
Yeah, I actually thought, because he was on a projection and he was a hologram and he was giant, I actually thought, how funny would it be if he was actually this big?
Like in Shrek.
Tiny little thing. That'd have been hilarious, but he wasn't. He was quite a generally tall person, and he's on my dislikes. Part of, not the character, the look of the character, but I'll get in that in a bit, because that scene with him and we've already pointed out spoilers. I don't know why I do that for. I'm like, we've just been talking about the whole film. Shall I bring this spoiler into it? Well, Kylo kills Snoke.
Yeah, I think what the whole build up in that scene is that Snoke is saying that, I know you, I'm better than you, I know everything that you're thinking, I can anticipate your every thought and every move. Well, he clearly can't. Because what he doesn't know is that whilst he's got Rey in suspense to stop her from escaping, that Kylo then takes Luke's lightsaber, which is next to Snoke, flips it around, turns it on, and just chops him in half.
Yep.
I felt, let's move into things that we didn't like.
Have we covered everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on to the dislike
things
part.
That we didn't like, because this leads nicely in.
It does.
I felt that there was such a build-up to Snoke, and that people were saying, who is he? Is he a Jedi that went wrong? Is he an old character who has been changed into something else? That was a thing that was put out there. The thought was,
really?
So people have just
but you're never going to know.
We didn't really know.
And you're never going to know.
Yeah, because that character is now completely gone, means nothing to episode 9. And he was killed like that. And I just think,
instantly,
that was just too easy. And the Praetorian Guards who surround him, visually amazing.
Beautiful, absolutely stunning.
A lot of that image has been put onto the posters and things. Well, they're all dead. Sorry to tell you all, but Kylo and Rey absolutely annihilate them.
Absolutely gone.
They're gone, so they have no role to play. And then you're just left with the Kylo and Rey thing of, let's think about where do we go from here.
Yeah.
And she then thinks, no, I can't do that with you, because that's not who I am.
That scene was brilliant though.
But it was a really good scene.
It was so good because it got you in the moment where you were like, just do it, Rey, just go and join him, or Kylo, go and join her, just someone, either of you, just get together.
Yeah.
Because yous would be absolutely unstoppable. That fight sequence was incredible, and how they worked together, and loved it.
Well, I mean,
I could just watch that on a loop over and over again.
The only thing about that I didn't like, which is one of the other things I've got a problem with, is that there's been this build up about Rey. Who is she and where she come from? Everyone said, is she Luke's daughter? Is she Kylo's twin sister? Is she Obi-Wan Kenobi's daughter? Is she some connection to a Jedi?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know whether or not they've bottomed this storyline out, because it could be that Kylo said this to her to make her feel like she was nothing.
Yeah.
But that he would take her under his wing, to make her feel like something. Yeah. Because what he says to her is, I know who your parents are. Because there was a scene before that when she's with Luke and she desperately wants to know where her parents are and what they're about. And he says, well, your parents sold you to a junk trader on Jakku. They were nothing. So you come out of there thinking, well, if that is true, Rey's parents were nobody, which, you know, is totally fine because Anakin came from nothing.
Mm-hmm. No, I think
So-
you are right. I found it funny. I remember coming out the pictures and saying to my mum, how hilarious was it that with Rey's parents, it was just blatantly obvious. It's just blatantly said, oh, it's no one. They're nobodies. And I was like, and then now I'm thinking about it, it's almost a slap in the face. Because it's kind of like, haha, you thought this was, she had somebody's, like her parents was something. Well, guess what? They're not.
It's a bit of mockery, really.
They're not.
But is it? Because, I mean, if episode 9 doesn't change that story, it's just completely kind of ruined that part of The Force Awakens as well, because you see that scene where it's little Rey
and then she's got the X-Wing helmet.
It's like, why is she, you know, what's happened there? Like the ship flies off, it's presumably our parents and they leave her.
Yeah.
So that part of her history just means nothing.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
That whole introduction to Rey on Jakku kind of loses its impact.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
For me, anyway.
No, I agree with you on that. What was I was thinking of there when we were talking about Rey and our parents? No, I forget. Oh, that was it. On the trailer, I said that they were going to go down the twin route. How wrong was that? That's what I wanted to point out. How wrong was I?
I think everybody felt that.
What else have you got?
The main thing, and I was discussing this with my friend Nick, is that the whole, well, from the start of the film, it's this whole chase sequence, and that the rebels are being chased by the First Order. Yes. I felt like that should have come either in the middle of the film or towards the end. It would have completely changed the dynamic of the storyline. But the reason I say that is because they put it right at the start and they make that the starting point. It totally restricted the rest of the story. Because then what you get is we're being chased, there's a problem, we haven't got enough fuel to take us away from this. So what we need to do is get a code breaker into the First Order ship, can't do that undetected. Finn and Rose go off to Canterbite and they fail. They fail in their mission. So in the end, they have to land on Crate, hide in a hole, basically, use these terrible little vehicles to come out and somehow try and take down Kylo Ren and the rest of his troop, which...
You've just done the film from start to finish, haven't you?
Yeah. I just found it to be like a bit of a letdown. You know, that they've completely... I mean, like you said before, there was a whole lot of time in that movie that could have been better spent.
Could have been completely cut down.
That whole casino thing, what a waste of time.
I did not need to get invested in animals that, one, were being abused, because that just kills us. And then two, I'm never going to see them again.
I didn't need to get invested in the whole idea of Finn and Rose going off to find something they never find. It totally fails, the plan fails, and as a result of that, Finn and Rose's roles really were kind of negligible for me.
Yeah.
Finn was nothing in this film for me. Sorry, but he wasn't.
They were trying to force a relationship on us that we didn't need.
Yeah.
I feel it. I'm not invested in Rose and Finn's relationship in the slightest. Finn and Rey, I want to see. Because you planted that seed of film. What are they doing?
You keep talking because I've got some cats over there that are misbehaving.
And we're back.
Sorry, I had to go to tend to some kitty misbehaviour. So I felt that Finn and Rose, what a waste of character development, complete waste of a scene in the casino. Could have really spent that time much better. Yeah. And consequently, because of that whole storyline, Captain Phasma's apparently dead as well.
Oh.
So what we have to now remember, if we go through the count, Snoke's gone, Phasma's gone. There's a big fight. Well, not even a big fight.
It's not even a big fight, and I thought it was going to. When we saw that,
it's pathetic.
It is. When you saw the trailer reaction, the video is here, and I stood up when I saw them two go at it because I thought, yes, this is it. She is going to have more screen time. It's obviously this fight is leading. It started somewhere, and now this is the finish. And nope, she walks in. They have a little spat. She did.
The end, and she falls into a big vat of fire.
And I love Gwendolyn
We
Christie.
think that's probably the end of it. Now, I don't really understand why you would have a character so iconic and plug it so hard and have, Gwendolyn Christie playing the role.
She's a big person.
Such a big way, only to kill her off with such a bad attitude towards it. It just seems like a really easy way out.
We don't normally swear on here, but it was piss poor. That's what it was.
It really was. And you just kind of went, oh, so Snoke's gone, Phasma's gone, Kylo Ren is now Supreme Leader.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So, right, and I mean, something else that was just really pathetic. At the very start, you think that Kylo was going to blow up the rebel ship. He doesn't, but obviously then the shots are fired. It goes straight through the main bridge where the leaders are standing, and Leia gets taken out. But she's floating through space, and I think uses the Force to fly back, like Mary Poppins, through space. Why did you do that?
I've got no answers for
why?
you. I have no answers for you.
Just why? I don't understand. It totally just set the tone of, if this is the first example of ridiculousness,
it's right there.
It's right there.
It's right there. My mum was asking, because my mum does like Star Wars, and that's where
I started to laugh.
Yeah,
honestly, I did.
It's where I wouldn't say love. I fell in love with Star Wars on my own. My mum she likes sci-fi, and I remember we were in the car. Was it yesterday? And she says, "So does Leia have the Force?" And I was like, "Did you not see her fly in space? She has the Force." However, that scene was just unnecessary. What you could have done is just let her float out and done.
Given that poor Carrie isn't with us anymore, it would have been. This is what I mean. If they were going to do that, they could have done that at the end, and that could have been the way that Leia goes, and she would have just frozen in space and floated away,
and she was forever in the galaxy.
Yes, and that might have been a nice way of kind of saying goodbye to her. But they haven't done that. I mean, obviously, I don't know what the bigger plan is.
We don't exactly. We wish.
But for the love of God, if there is a bigger plan that's going to correct all of this and make sense of it, Episode 9 is going to have a lot of hard work to do, because it's an uphill battle from here in, given that there's been, the element of ridiculousness throughout this film. And I honestly don't know why they did it. No. So, that was the first example of things that I just absolutely hated. I mean, the main spoiler is that Luke Skywalker dies at the end of the film, and I felt that he was completely cheated out of his time to reprise the role. There's all sorts of things that I really wanted to see from Luke. You really want to see what kind of Jedi Master he's become, how skilled he's become. Yeah. Kind of how strong he is with the Force. You get to see Yoda do that in Episode 3.
That's true.
You get to see Obi-Wan do that in Ewan McGregor's role, and also in Alec Guinness's role. He has that whole standoff with Darth Vader in A New Hope. You just don't really get that. You get this watered down version of a fight.
Sorry,
that's partially jumping all over the place.
There we go.
You get to see this watered down version of a fight between Luke and Kylo Ren, which ends in this sort of slapstick Mark Hamill comedy of see you around, kiddo. Then he just disappears because he's fighting him as a hologram.
What did you say earlier? What did you say about Mark? Luke. He was not Luke Skywalker. He was Mark Hamill.
They wrote the part of Luke Skywalker to be Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, not just be Luke Skywalker, because I felt like the comedy thing, the first thing that you see, carrying on from the end of Episode 7, Rey hands him back his lightsaber. Yeah.
The way thing. We've been waiting to see what that reaction is for.
What's the first thing he's going to say?
What's he going to say when he's got this lightsaber in his hand for the first time, and God knows how long? He chucks it over his shoulder. Now, it's personally, I laughed.
It was like something out of a spoof.
Yeah, it was like
Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi, for Empire Strikes Back, would never have done that. And I just think, given that what you then learn about, why he is where he is, and he's conflicted, he's totally learned to shut himself off from the Force. Ray says to him, "Oh my God, you've totally blocked it out
because
you've
I can't.
To.
Yeah, I can't. He tries.
I can't get that from you.
I can't get into you that way. Yeah.
His nephew has betrayed him. He feels like a massive failure. I mean, he's a depressed soul, isn't he? But somehow he's managed to develop this quirky sense of humour and throw a lightsaber over his shoulder like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. What I didn't.
It didn't make any sense. I just thought, why have you done that?
The end scene with him and Kylo, it took me a while, and I don't know if this is because I was tired, but it took me a while to go, hang on a minute, when did you get a haircut? Because his hair was short. He had short back and sides when he was fighting Kylo, and I was
because he was younger Luke.
Well, that's what I mean. I was like, but I just couldn't get my head around it, and then I was like, it's because he's not,
because he's actually back in actor, apparitioning himself to fight Kylo. Kylo obviously injures him with the lightsaber, mortally wounded, but then he just kind of reappears, and then you think, oh, we can't kill him for some reason, and then you realise why. But obviously, in his real embodiment, he's felt everything. Yeah. And then you just see him do the whole Obi-Wan, like how the Jedi's do. They just disappear and poof into nothing, and that was it.
I hope that's not it.
It was just so disappointing.
I just hope that, and I might eat my words on this at some, when episode 9 comes out, but I hope JJ comes back and gives it the spark it had from Force Awakens. Force Awakens is not a perfect film. It's not.
It was a lot better than episode 8, but it was
the starting point. It was always going to be difficult for Force Awakens to be that, because it was the starting point. You getting invested in new characters and waiting for your old ones to come in. It was always going to be a difficult film. And then this one it felt like a completely different film. Like and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it didn't feel almost like a Star Wars film. There was just something missing from it. So I'm hoping when JJ comes back for episode 9, he brings back what originally we felt because when we watched Force Awakens, you knew you were watching a Star Wars film. Regardless of how you felt of it, you knew you were watching it. This one, not so much. It just was something, and I am a person who has to watch things a million times to grasp it. I really do. You know this. My memory is shocking for starters. I don't get things straight away. I have to watch it, and I will be watching it again. I have my other half who hasn't seen it, so I will have to watch it again at some point. So there might be other things that I'll pick up later on and go, but I just hope JJ just comes in on this next one and just gives it that spark again.
Where are we left now for episode 9? There's no Luke. There's not going to be any Leia. There's no Snoke. There's no Phasma. So now what?
Kylo and Rey. That's it.
You've got Kylo and Rey. You've got Poe and Finn and Rose.
Let's just make it about Poe Dameron.
You don't know anything about Finn.
No,
do you?
You still don't
We know nothing about Finn. We don't know where Rey's come from. I mean, obviously there's a bit more to her character than that. Kylo is the strongest character left to take it forward, but I just felt again that Star Wars has always been about the Skywalker family. And for me, it starts with Anakin. Yeah. It moves into Luke and his relationship with Anakin, as you find out. It then becomes Leia. You find out she's part of it all. And then it just stopped for 34 years, and you've been waiting for this huge build-up to see Luke be that Jedi that he was back in Empire Strikes Back, back in Return of the Jedi. You expect so much from him. You think, you've got all these really good characters like Snoke, Phasma. Why is there no huge battle between, Snoke, who apparently is the most powerful?
Yeah, he beefed himself up to be the big
invincible.
Oh, I heard.
So why is there a showdown between Luke and Snoke?
Yeah.
At some point, if not in that episode, why not in episode 9? Yeah. Why not draw it out a bit more?
He really did big himself up throughout that whole scene that he's in with him, with Kylo and Rey. The reason they have their connection and the reason they can talk to each other is because he made it happen. And then it was over. it's done. It's like, poof, gone. All that power disappeared.
You weren't that powerful, then.
You clearly weren't. No, not at all.
Yeah.
If you're going to big yourself up, you always have something to back it up with.
So what? I mean, I'm really, really interested to see the trailer for episode 9 when they're going to do that, because I feel like we've got absolutely no idea what direction this is going to go in.
I said this on the Infinity War trailer reaction we did. Regardless how it goes, it's still a Star Wars film. It's the same principle as episode 1, 2 and 3. We do not like them, but we have to accept that they are part of Star Wars lore. You've got to accept that this one is too, even with its flaws. It's still a Star Wars film. We are still getting, we are in our time, we are getting a Star Wars film. You've got to be appreciative of that. You don't have to like it. You don't have to completely love it. You can still be a fan and still have a little bit disagreement. It's the same with everything. Like, there was one point with Marvel. Like, I'm a huge Marvel fan, clearly with my Captain Marvel jump run. But there was a point in Marvel where I was ready to give up. You know, Iron Man 3 and Thor 2, they were the worst Marvel films I have ever seen. The writing, the directing, it was just, again, piss poor. And
abysmal.
It was terrible. And then Winter Soldier just changes it.
Well, hopefully they've got one more crack at the whip with episode 9 to get this right. So
maybe it'll be
Abrams,
I
implore you, please fix it.
Maybe it'll be the Winter Soldier of the Star Wars that just
I hope to God it is.
I don't know. You've got no. I hope so. Of course,
From my
I hope
point
so.
of view, I mean, you guys might go and see it and think something completely different. You might absolutely love it and take all of the things away from that you do. But I mean, I've obviously had like a few days to think about it. Yeah. And been talking about the things that I didn't like with other people, and then I think, oh yeah, actually you're right in what they said. There's been some good things and bad things, worse things that I kind of went, yeah, actually, that's made me feel worse about it now. But all of these things just add up. When I count up the things that I wrote down, like fairly quickly,
very quickly,
they're pretty equal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things and there's a lot of bad things
about
God.
It. And
it is Marmite.
It is. Marmite film. I like that scene. I was debating, I've toed and froed and I've gone over to my head. I was actually going to disable the comments because I don't want an all-out war, but I do love the conversations that we have with people. So I'm gonna leave them.
Please be polite to each other, can you?
Yeah, please. Yeah. I've honestly toed and froed. I disabled every comment on my Instagram page leading up to, like, through the Star Wars period, and I was going to do the same for this video, and then I thought no, because I've had some lovely conversations. I'm the one who's talking to you, by the way, and I have some lovely conversations with people who, are excited and want to have a conversation and want to, like, and they value your opinion and you value theirs, and I love it. So I'm actually going to keep them on. Anyone being an arse though, that's it. I'll delete and I'll block. I really will. I'm not going to have anyone feel that their opinion doesn't matter and they're wrong, and because nobody's wrong. It's just how you feel about something. So I'm going to leave them on. Yeah. So to round this off, or finish this off, I should say, what's your overall score out of 10?
I would give it a 6.
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Oh.
7.5, because there is a lot that I did. I probably liked a lot more than what Carolyn did. There's one person that we forgot to mention that was in this film, which has divided the opinion of people, and I mean people that is in this house. Yoda appears, and
I liked it. I felt that again. I think maybe it wouldn't have been the way I felt about it if there hadn't been so much other unnecessary cheesy humour.
Wow, yeah. Oh, that's all.
If you didn't have all the other unnecessary cheesy humour, Luke throwing the bloody lightsaber over his shoulder, Paul giving Hux a bit of back chat. It was just too much, and then Yoda to appear. I just thought, oh god, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. I totally get what you mean. Me, I just love
I
to
don't
see.
know.
I love to see that little green thing on screen.
I felt like maybe they could have had Vader appear and speak to him as his father.
Yes.
That with Yoda, that might have been quite interesting.
That would have been interesting.
See, you know, in a serious capacity.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you saw Obi-Wan after he'd passed in A New Hope. Great.
What Luke needed was talking down.
Yeah.
Was talking down. Was pointing in the right direction. Yes, Yoda is perfect for that.
Actually, do you know what it reminded me of? Because
what?
to talk about this film being Disney-fied, right?
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of in The Lion King when Mufasa speaks to Simba and says, "Get yourself back to Prime Rock and sort this shit out." Is that not what it reminded you of? Luke is Simba.
Yeah. Oh,
it was a total Lion King moment.
Oh God.
I've just realised where I've seen that before. They're even sitting, you know, looking out at the stars.
They're just sitting looking like just looking
I almost
yonder.
expected Rafiki to come along.
Just knock them in the head.
Draw something on a tree and tell everyone to...
We were talking about this earlier, how Disney-fied.
Yes.
This is,
which is not a bad thing.
It's really not a bad thing.
I absolutely love Disney, and I think, you know, they've done some fantastic stuff with Star Wars. They've really, really... Like, Force Awakens, I loved it. They absolutely nailed it. Mm-hmm. And in this film, they absolutely nailed a lot of things.
Yeah.
But a lot of it as well, it leaves me a little bit... I don't know.
Our feelings may be different when episode 9 comes out.
I hope so.
Maybe we'll...
I really hope
what we should do is keep this list.
Yes.
And then when episode 9 comes out, go back and go, oh, well, that makes sense now because of this.
If you don't fix it, I'm not going to be happy.
She's just putting that out there. Are we going to end this?
Yes.
Right, so that's it. That's
our over.
Right. That's our review of Star Wars. Like, if no one's all going to be in fully agreement, and you're all going to have your own opinion. So please comment down below, and I will talk to you. But again, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. All our links down below for Instagram, our personal Instagram, Rhea's Instagram. Because, as always, our artwork is done by the amazing, great,
stupendous
Raya Paez. Thank you. We reached 200 subs today, which to a lot of people doesn't seem like a big number, but for us it means a great deal. This is something we just do on the side for fun, so we love it. We love the comments that we get, and I talk to a lot of people on there, and the views as well. That's just
blown our minds.
There was honestly, I hate when it does that.
Just what?
They don't see it. The screen goes off, and it goes into the screensaver. It's still recording. It just annoys us. The Infinity War trailer, when we put it up, it was put up on the Saturday. By Sunday, there was 85 views. That was at 5 o'clock on Sunday, and then all of a sudden, it went from 85 to 350, like, and it just kept going up. It absolutely blows my mind. I love it. Thank you so much. So thanks for all the lovely comments and the views, and that's it.
Yes.
Say goodbye.
And have a really nice Christmas, everyone.
Oh yes, have a lovely Christmas. Are we coming back?
Don't know what else. Is Jumanji coming out soon?
It's out.
I don't know.
Jumanji.
Then we might need to review that at some point.
We might need to, but what I do want to do before, if we don't do the Jumanji one, however, I do want to do an end of the year recap. And we'll do a likes and dislikes thingy for that. Yeah. Because there's a lot I didn't like.
And we'll look
this
ahead
year.
till 2018 and what's coming out next year.
And that's how we'll end the year.
Yes.
So if we don't see you before Christmas, have a lovely Christmas.
Have a lush one.
Have a lush one. Oh. Have a nice Christmas. So thank you very much for watching now. Thanks. Bye.